Hello, AP Langers. I thought it would be a good idea if I started the year off with a little short video introducing you to the class, since I didn't really get a chance to talk to you guys because of the abrupt end to last school year. So, um, in this class, you will be learning how to write three types of essays. You're going to write the rhetorical analysis, you're going to write an argumentative essay, and you're going to write a synthesis essay. And we're going to do lots of multiple choice practice. We're going to start the year off with the rhetorical analysis essay because I think that it's closest to what you've been doing most of your 10th grade year. So I want to talk to you about some things that you need to make sure that you're doing when you do a rhetorical analysis. Because I think in the past, the way you guys have done it has been um, identify the rhetorical devices that's being used and then prove that that was the rhetorical device that's being used. And that's not what we're going to do in my class. We're going to change rhetorical devices to rhetorical choices, and so that broadens the field. And so we can talk about the writer's diction, the type of diction. We can talk about the syntax. We can talk about the way they address the audience and those types of things. So there's a couple of things that I want you to take away from this video and put in your notebook. One of the things is when we're doing a rhetorical analysis, we talk about the rhetorical situation. The rhetorical situation is it can be like a triangle, and in the middle you have the text, and then at the top you have the speaker or the writer, and then you would have the audience, and then you would have the purpose. So that's the basic rhetorical situation. So when you talk about the audience, again, you don't just identify the audience. You have to talk about how the audience impacted the message that the writer or the speaker is delivering. So remember, no more of the identify and prove it. We're talking about how does the audience, once you identify the audience, how does that audience impact the choices that the writer made? So that's the basic rhetorical situation. But then we have some other considerations when we talk about rhetorical situation too. We have something that's called exigence. Exigence. Exigence is what prompted the speaker or writer to develop the text. Think about the letter that I sent home in your text packet. The exigence would be that I was trying to introduce myself to my students. I wanted to calm your fears, any fears you might have about beginning the year virtually. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that we were still gonna um, aim to be, how do I want to say it? I knew that I wanted to reassure you that just because we were starting virtually didn't mean that you were going to get watered down instruction. So that's the exigence. So you have to ask yourself, when you think about those three different things that I just talked about, how can you see that in the message? And so we'll talk about that some more in class, but I wanted you to at least have an introduction to what exigence is. Exigence is the thing that makes the speaker decide to develop the speech or write the text. Another thing for you to think about is the context. What is the context? What's going on at the time that the text was composed? For us, the context would be we have a pandemic going on. We had a school year that ended early last year. So that's some context. And another thing is culture. What do we know about our culture that impacts the wording that I chose in my letter, or the fact that I even decided to write the letter? So, rhetorical situation, I want you to take away 6 things. You have the speaker, you have the audience, you have, hold on, you have the speaker, the audience, and what was the other one? The speaker, audience, Okay, back to the things that I want you to take away about the rhetorical situation. So you have speaker, audience, purpose, exigence, culture, and context. So whenever I ask you about the rhetorical situation of any text, those are the 6 things that you need to be thinking about. And you need to be thinking about how those 6 things impact the delivery of the message, the composition of the message, or some part of the message that the writer or speaker is trying to get across. Um, I think that's enough for an introductory video, but I do want you to know that I am really looking forward to working with you guys this year. And I hope that the virtual thing won't be for very long, but just know that we're going to get through this year together. And when you leave my class, you will do well on the assessment that you're going to take at the end of the year and get that college credit, and you will feel confident going into the 12th grade. See you guys later.